This is Luke Radowski of wearechange.org, and 7 months ago here we met Joe Lozito. Now Joe truly is an unsung hero. He stopped a murdering psychopath that was on a rampage killing people all over New York City. Now this madman started stabbing Joe while the NYPD stood back and watched the whole incident unfold. Now Joe was very lucky to disarm this suspect and take him down, and when he almost died, the NYPD came in, took credit for it, and said that Joe was only a victim. Now the case gets really interesting because Joe filed a lawsuit against the NYPD for standing back and watching him almost being murdered and then taking credit for capturing the suspect when that wasn't true. And the NYPD and the city of New York have argued that the NYPD is not here to protect and serve its own people. Now the case is in the hands of a judge, and she recently made a decision on this case. So Joe, everything was in the hands of this judge. Can you tell us when the decision was made and what decision was made?
I found out last Thursday, I'm not sure the date, but I found out last Thursday that the city dismissed my case. Judge Margaret Chan sided with the city. Basically, her decision is actually interesting to read. You could read it on the internet. Basically what she does for 2.5 pages is compliment me. She calls me heroic. She thinks she called me brave. She also called me highly credible. But I guess she's bound by the loopholes that the city used, and she ruled against me. So it's very disappointing. It's something I kind of expected. I sort of prepared myself for it, but to be honest with you, I was kind of hoping that I'd get a judge that maybe would say, listen, I know you cited all these cases, but they don't have anything to do with this case. I think he deserves his day, and unfortunately it didn't happen.
How did you receive the notice? Was it a letter? Was it a phone call? How did you get it, and how did you personally react to it?
I actually, my lawyer, who was representing me on the case originally, who I still keep in touch with, actually sent me an email, and he told me to call him, and I got it a few hours later, and I was working, so I couldn't call him, but I did text him, and he sent me a text, and he actually found out from a writer from the New York Post. They contacted him to get my contact information, so he found out, and then he contacted me, and that's how I found out.
So they didn't even tell you directly?
No, they sent me notice in the mail, which I received the next day.
And personally, what went through your mind when you received that notice, when you found out? How did you take this information?
Well, I think it's like anything else. You can prepare for something, but until it hits you, smacks you in the face, it's a dose of reality. Honestly, I thought the stance from the city from the beginning was a chicken stance. You know, that day on the train, those cops turned their back on me, and you know, by the city trying to get out of the day in court against me, that was a chicken way out. I don't blame them. I wouldn't want to have to face me in court because I have the truth on my side. So I'm not surprised, disappointed definitely, but you know, I wasn't surprised. It's a coward's way out. So, yeah.
Did you need to take some time off? Did you, what else personally did you have to go through because of all this?
I mean, from day one, when I went to the lawyer to file this suit, he told me it was going to be a hard case, and I knew that. So I kind of prepared. I kind of told myself, listen, if it doesn't go our way, I'm going to give myself 24 hours to, you know, to grieve, I guess you want to call it, be miserable, you know, pissed off, whatever. And it's basically what I did. My boss was kind enough. I took the Friday as a vacation day. I spent the day with my wife, and we kind of just hung out together and discussed our options. And I found out around 6 o'clock on Thursday. By 3 o'clock on Friday, I was over it, and I was ready to fight again.
What effect has this decision have on you, and what are your plans for the future?
I mean, the effect is similar to the case. I mean, it's just, you know, they say you can't fight City Hall, and, you know, I had a judge that's employed by the City of New York rule in favor of the City of New York, so I'm not really surprised. And, you know, I guess it's the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules. Yeah. So, you know, it was, I still consider it a slap in the face. I consider their actions on the train a slap in the face, and I consider this a slap in the face, but I'm not going away. As far as what I'm doing now, it was on my mind to write a book, and absolutely, I actually started that Friday night. I'm starting to write a book, and, you know, they can keep me out of court, and I don't blame them for trying to keep me out of court, but they can't keep me from writing a book, and I promise you the book is going to be explosive.
I mean, this case has such huge ramifications on everybody. I mean, personally, just going through everything yourself and you know, being shocked by the news that the NYPD doesn't have to protect and serve everyone. What is the overall just judgment on everything? What is the overall reaction and conclusion to your case?
I mean, unfortunately, we're at the point now where I have to make a conclusion. I think if the city, any municipality is able to just use loopholes to get out of trouble, I think that's disgraceful. You know, we're in America. I'm a citizen. I pay taxes. I thought I was entitled to my day in court. I thought I was entitled to trial by jury. Apparently, that's not true.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have gone to court. I would have loved to sat on that stand and been questioned by their lawyers. I would have loved to have sat there and watched the police officers get questioned, because one of our truths is not true, and I know mine is. I have the scars to prove it. I have the truth to prove it. So I would have found it interesting. You know, the reality is, you know, some people said, you know, he's doing it for the money, he's doing it for this, he's doing it for that. Had we gone to court, had I received my day in court, and had the jury tell me, look, you don't deserve anything, I would have been completely fine with that, as long as I was given my right as a citizen to have my day in court. So if anything, it leaves me a little cynical. At worst, it leaves me cynical. At best, it leaves me apathetic.
Yeah. So the city successfully argued that legally they do not have to protect and serve anyone. Is that true?
Yes, the city does. The police, and keep in mind, I will say this, for the individual police officers themselves, many of them I've spoken to in Penn Station or on Facebook or on Twitter, they have no idea about this loophole. So it's not something they teach them, say, in the academy, but it's something that the city's lawyers will keep in the holster and keep in the chamber, and then they'll pull it out when they need it. So yeah, it's scary to think that a woman could be walking down the street and get raped, and if the police don't do anything, they have these loopholes to get them out of trouble. That's frightening to me. Yeah. So I mean, I've said the word disgraceful a million times in the past 2.5 years, so I'll just keep saying it.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to say or share with us?
Yeah. My book will be out at some point. Yeah. I think it's going to be a great book. If you want to know what it was like for me to be on that subway with a spree killer while the police were behind me watching, you want to know second by second, I take you right in the subway with me. I'm going to take you to court with me when I faced Maxim Gelman on the day of his sentencing, and I'm going to take you step by step throughout the whole court process. And you'll see exactly what kind of cases they used to get my case thrown out. You'll see for yourself. They have nothing to do with my case, and I guarantee you will be moved by the story. So just keep yourselves posted on my book. I guarantee you'll love it.
Check out Joe Lozito at Joe Lozito on Twitter. We'll have the link in the description. I very much look forward to this book. Joe, thank you so much for being an unsung hero and standing up. You didn't win the day in court, but the court of public opinion is on your side. That's
great. I'd like to thank everybody who has tweeted at me, who has come to our Facebook page, Justice for Joe Lozito on Facebook now, sent me emails. People have come up to my job to talk to me, say nice things. I'd like to thank you, Luke, We Are Change, for supporting me, having my back, and just everybody who has ever said a kind word about me. Thank you so much. This fight is not just for me, it's for everybody. So I really appreciate it. My family appreciates it, and thank you.
Do you want to meet my friend Joe?
My name is Joseph Lozito. On February 12, 2011, my life was changed forever. It happened on the subway, just like this. I got up that morning, it was like any other morning. I get on the train, I enter the train, I come right to this seat where I'm sitting right now. I sit down, it's the first